who lobs it into the goal past the newly substitute.
Let's move on to rugby, and 3 teams had a 100% record at the Prince Louis Sevens, the 4th round of the Safaricom 7 series, with Homeboys, KCB and Wamba FC each winning their respective group matches. Homeboys brushed aside their opposition to finish top of Pool A. They will face Western Bulls in the quarterfinals on Sunday. Cabras Sugar came second in that group, and they will face off with KCB, who did not lose a match. In the other quarterfinal, host Union Nakuru RFC will battle it out against Kenya Harlequins. Wamba FC has a stern test against Strathmore. As you can see there, all their big boys will be playing in that match. The 26th annual Camel Derby took place today in Maralal, Samburu County, attracting visitors from 9 countries. Danish tourist Henrik Huber surprisingly won this year's 10 kilometers race on his debut. Wahiga Mwaura tells us more.
The quiet town of Maralal, about 348 kilometers north of Nairobi, is considered the gateway to Kenya's wild and arid north, and serves as a mecca for adventurers, nomads and camels. This weekend, tourists from 9 countries, including Denmark and Germany, descended on this town for the unique race. It seems even the camels were excited about this event, a break for them from their daily routine as pack animals. At 11 a.m. sharp, the derby started, but unlike many of Kenya's marathons, where the athletes are quick off the line, the 15 camels here were not in a rush to get going, thus some persuasion was needed. Once they were off, it became survival for the fittest, as each camel struggled to get ahead of the others and take the lead position. 42 minutes later, and it was Denmark's Henrik Huber who came charging towards the finish line with his handler to take first position. Getting off the camel, however, proved to be another athletics feat altogether.
What was that? That was ridiculous. Did you enjoy the race? My thing broke. It was amazing. Lovely. The whole thing's been great.
We are glad to say that so far we have about 9 countries participating. The Denmark has the highest number, about 7 entries, followed by the Germans, about 4, and then the US has 3.
Hii mashindano ya ngamia imekuwa mzuri sana zaidi. Zamani ilikuwa tu hivi lakini sasa tumepata wageni kwa wingi.
Reporting for Citizen Sports, I'm Wahiga Mwaura.
Let's move on to a story, of course, that's making headlines in the sporting world. And Chelsea sent out a statement of intent in the English Premier League as they managed to thump Everton by 6-3 in a thrilling match. The Blues led 2-1 at the break when Diego Costa and Branislav Ivanovic handed Chelsea a 2-0 lead after 3 minutes. Kevin Mirallas headed Everton back in the game, but no one would have expected the second half to be a goal fest. Definitely the flurry of goals began after 67 minutes as the two sides traded goal after goal. Everton's Seamus Coleman scored an own goal for Chelsea's third, but they redeemed themselves with a goal by Stevie Naismith. Nemanja Matic scored Chelsea's 5th goal as Samuel Eto'o reduced the deficit for Everton a minute later. Ramirez and Costa put the match beyond reach with 2 more goals. Here are the highlights.
Matic. Crazy! Ramirez! Just crazy! Mikel's onto it, and Costa could seal it here. Diego Costa, of course. First Royal Welbeck was the only one looking to get in the 6-yard box.
Valencia's delivery. It's Anderson. Now Fletcher. It was a kind one. The ball hit Ashley Barnes.
Elsewhere, it was not a good day in the city of Manchester as the blue side and the red sides both failed to live up to their fans' expectations. United were held to a barren draw by newly promoted side Burnley, increasing pressure on Louis van Gaal, who is yet to register a league victory at the Etihad Stadium. This was the winning goal that was scored by Diouf for Stoke as they lost by a solitary goal in that match. Well, that's it for Citizen Weekend Sports. Thank you so much for your time. Good evening. I'm Bernard Ndong. Remember, Fashion Watch is up next. Don't move.
Tusker, twende kazi.
Radio Ramogi, Karjun Jaluo. Radio Ramogi.
Where is my dude? 24 hours. 24 hours. It's just me and you. Mommy, you remind me of something. But I don't know what it is. You remind me of something. You gotta show me.
New Trust Whipped Condoms. Trust. More pleasure.
Get spotted drinking Guinness at a bar near you, giving you a chance to travel and watch a live match in the UK with your buddy, or win up to 100,000 shillings cash. Guinness, made of more.
Welcome. Oh, karibuni. Welcome to Space and Style, the home of genuine Decra roofing tiles.
Yes, ndio hawa watu wa Decra Origi. Now, what's so special about this roofing tile?
Decra roofing tiles are stone-coated metal tiles that have been used in Kenya for over 10 years. We've been tried, tested, and trusted to give the highest quality in roofing tiles.
And do you give advice on installation?
Yes, we not only offer expert technical advice, we have certified and trained over 1,000 Decra roofing installers countrywide.
Let me hear more about it. Decra Roofing Original inatoka Space and Style.
Decra Roofing Tiles, nambari moja.
Ukiswitch kwa sola utasahau mafuta taa na kusave. Utaweza kununua mbolea na kuongeza mapato. Je, unangoja nini? Switch sasa kwa Delight Solar iliyo na warranty ya miaka 2 kwa bei speciali. Tutumie SMS ya bure.
Buy school supplies early. Avoid a last-minute rush to the stores and make sure you have a checklist.
The future is bright for me and for you. I need the right tool to get me there. Like my big fine point pen. This will help me write my future until my dreams come true.
The General Overseer of Deliverance Church International, Bishop Dr. Mark Kariuki, invites you to a prophetic time of change in Kenya with Dr. Creflo Dollar from 29th to 31st August at the Kasarani Safaricom Marina daily from 3 p.m. Entry is absolutely free. For more information, call 0725 163 357 or 0725 155 325.
I got spotted and won the 20,000. For those who take Guinness, it could be you will get spotted next and get booked. And it could be winning, could be the one to win the 100,000 at the trip.
Get spotted drinking Guinness at a bar near you. And yes, it could be you that gets the red card, giving you a chance to travel and watch a live match in the UK with your buddy, or win up to 100,000 shillings cash. You can also choose the yellow card to win instant prizes. Guinness, made of more.
At all our Huduma centers, government officers provide services efficiently and with courtesy. Visit our Huduma center near you to apply for police abstracts, IDs, business registration, NSSF, among others.
At 14 Huduma centers and coming to a county near you. Steered by the Presidency through the Ministry of Devolution and Planning.
Thank you so much for your time. It's time for Fashion Watch now. The hashtag is Fashion Watch. And of course, you can send in your style-related questions to 22422. The Fashion Watch panel, as always, in studio with us every Saturday right here on the Fashion Watch. Let me introduce them to you. Ian Mbogwa, Fashion Watch panelist. He's a thespian, and of course, he is the no-nonsense judge on Tasker Project fame. And of course, next to Ian is Carol Odero, drum editor, and of course a fashion columnist. Okay, do we have Carol? Yes, that's Carol. Okay, great. And then on this other end is Robert Burale. He is a motivational speaker and an image consultant, and of course the lovely Annabelle Onyango, fashion stylist, and of course our panelist here on Fashion Watch. So what's been happening this week? Okay. Right, that is Annabelle. Yeah, she was almost talking. Where am I? Okay, fine. So let's move this along. So what was happening this week? This is what was happening this week. Okay, so this is President Uhuru Kenyatta, of course, Raila Odinga there, and Uhuru's mother, President Uhuru's mother, Mama Ngina Kenyatta. And of course, tonight we're talking about what to wear to a funeral, because this was at a funeral, and of course the usual is black at funerals. So can we step away from that? Can we have a different look at funerals? Let me start with you, Ian. What do you think?
Traditionally, it's always been black because it's supposed to be mourning, but we need to start celebrating people when they die, and not to have a dull mood. So I'm not into this thing of funerals. I'd rather have a celebration of somebody's life and dress well, have fun. Yes, just celebrate this person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Carol, do you agree? Of course, you don't want to step into a funeral in that, oh, I'm here, everybody notice me yellow or bright red, or, you know. What do you think?
Well, interestingly enough, I think wearing black at a funeral is a very modern thing. It's contemporary. It's a society thing, or rather a city thing. Because in shags, we usually, when we do funerals at home, I usually see them wearing white. So in regards to celebrating, I usually see that happen. You know, there is a whole mourning period, and it takes days, and the whole expression of that grief. So you actually would look out of place if you were white. So if you're going for the burial, then black is never really the context. This usually just happens when you're in church. So that's why it fits in the context. And also because it's more of the kind of crowd that will attend it, just to make it easy and safe and just not have any drama around it.
Okay. And
would a little black dress do?
I've actually seen little black dresses, but they're usually worn with blazers as well.
Okay. Okay. Slightly more conservative. Annabelle, what do you think, you know, about the whole wearing black thing? Like Mama Ngina Kenyatta there is in black, but it's got a bit of lace on it, so not really quite as stiff. But what are your thoughts on black at funerals?
I mean, I think Mama Ngina's done a superb job there. I think wearing black is part of sort of the mourning period, but also sort of honoring the dead by being elegant, I think, is important. And I think she's showing us a perfect example of that. You know, she's well, you know, covered up. She's wearing a hat. She's wearing layers, and I think she looks really good. Okay,
great. Let's take a look at the next image. Don't worry, Robert, I'm coming to you. Let's take a look. So this is at Evelyn Wamboy's wedding earlier on today. Garden wedding. Garden weddings are kind of becoming the trend of late. So Let me start with you, Robert. That is our beautiful Janet Mbugwa.
Yay. I think she looks amazing. The length of the dress, the way it fits, it looks perfectly amazing. That's all I can say.
Okay, Ian.
I love it, I love it, I love it. I love Janet.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Janet does look amazing. Carol, what are your thoughts?
Well, you know, when I'm looking at what she's wearing, I see why a lot of women get weddings wrong. Because you can try to wear an outfit like that, but the fabric might not necessarily work. So this fabric works very well for a garden wedding and an outdoor occasion. And then she's accessorized it to make it look elegant. So the look is somewhere between elegant and formal.
Okay.
With a touch of casual, which only works for a wedding. You know, if she wore this somewhere else, if she wore it for, say, a dinner function, it might work, but the fabric is what makes the difference.
Okay.
So if you wear this with crushed velvet, then it's just a bad idea. But because she was worn that fabric, then it works for a garden wedding.
Okay, Annabelle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I love Janet too. Love her voice, love everything about her. And that body is great. The only thing I would say is I would swap out her pink belt. I think that's pink against the blue with something metallic to match the necklace, because my eye line is confused. I don't know if I'm looking at her neck piece or if I'm looking at her belt. I feel like there should be some coordination there.
Okay. All right. That's the panel on that look, and let's move on and see who else was at the wedding. These are the Namus. This is McKenna Namu and John Allen Namu. Okay, did I pull the John? Okay, so yeah, John Allen and McKenna there as well at the garden wedding, at Evelyn Wamboi's wedding. Let me start with you, Robert. Let's talk about that look.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is a couple, so, you know, just, we could look at them as a couple stepping out to an event, or you could talk about John Allen and then talk about McKenna.
Both of them are my very good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the problem? Both are my very, very good friends.
yeah, you try to be diplomatic.
You
that's
said
why.
that already.
No, what I
You've
like,
said that 3 times.
What I like,
I think we also need to actually make it clear that nothing that is ever said on this show is personal.
Yes,
It
yeah.
is
It's
constructive
true.
criticism. And
John
yeah.
is one of the sharpest dressed men I know. He has brown shoes, right? I wish the shirt was different. But the one thing I like is that him and his wife have gone different. I get annoyed when I see couples dressed the same.
Yeah.
The man has a kitenge, which has a design, and then the wife makes the same dress. I feel like...
I think it's kind of cute.
Oh, no.
I think it's totally cute when couples coordinate. I do. I think couples should think about what they're going to wear when they're going to a formal occasion and somehow, in a very subtle way, coordinate.
Yeah.
And in this case, there's obviously no coordination. I think John Allen Namu's shirt is completely wrong for the occasion. It's too casual. And I think his wife should really lose the pashmina and lose the head wrap. Like, it's completely unnecessary and too casual.
Okay. Ian.
Next.
Yes, no, not next. Ian. Ian, we want to hear your thoughts.
I think they could have done a lot better.
Okay.
They really could have done a lot better.
Well, I just think if she just lost the pashmina and just did up her hair and just added a piece of accessory, then it makes the whole thing have a wow factor. Maybe he coordinated his shoes with a dress. Do you know T Brown?
Her dress is good.
That's a stretch.
Her dress is very, very good, I think.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Fine. So let's move on. What are your thoughts, by the way? The hashtag is 22422. And this, again, Oria Rogo Manduli getting down. You know, she likes to do the West African style, of course, with the head gear, I don't know what to call it. Yeah. So I want
it's called lagele.
Oh, it's called lagele. Okay, that's what it's called. So for not for mother of the bride, but for ladies around Oria Rogo Manduli's age that are perhaps watching, she's got a bit of the one arm design style going on there. Carol, let me start with you. This age appropriate, too sexy, too revealing. What are your thoughts?
First of all, we have to put it in context. Who's wearing it? So there is that. You know, this look, it can be hard to pull off if you're older, because generally when you're older, a lot of women, when they get older, they tend to get more flesh in the upper body. So sometimes when you wear the outfit, it cannot be flattering.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So in her case, I mean, like I said, put it in context. It's her. Of course, she's going to do something crazy. But if you're wearing headgear, just minimize it. It doesn't have to be, the world and its sister on your head. You can still make it smaller and it can still work. In her case, like I said, hey, more power to her. Okay. She can get away with it.
Yeah, so you need to know how to carry that.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to know how to wear something like that. Confidence is important. And I want to talk about the ladies, Robert, that we see in weddings, the ones that welcome the bride. You know that you do a lot of weddings.
Yes.
So, the typical look that we see on ladies at Kenyan weddings. Can we do better? Is it about time to move away from the traditional?
We should do much better. And those are the ladies who are loudest, and they're looking for the camera, and they can be very, very annoying, to be honest with you. And I've done weddings.
But you're the one who says that if you feel great, then you look great. So
yeah,
they
but
feel great.
sometimes
That's
in
why
the
they do
effort
it.
to be different, you can look stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So if you're going to try and take center stage, looking for the camera and telling the MC, give me the microphone, make an effort to look good. Orierogo, for me, she has an ego, and that's why she needs a big headgear to handle that ego. You understand? And you need to understand her. So even the women next to her look like just escorts.
They actually are escorts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
They're escorts.
And Ian, I wanna get your thoughts on the handbags. We know that it can get. I mean, this is for security purposes, I suppose.
Yes, it is.
People will take your bag away. But this thing, this handbag
if
thing
you're
with Kenyan
going,
women.
if you're going to a wedding and leave your handbag with somebody you can trust. Don't go off, to bring the bride when you're carrying it, and it's so huge. I don't even know what you've carried in there.
Just get something inside there.
Carol, did I ask you what your thoughts were on that?
No, you didn't. But just get a nice petite clutch. You can still have a clutch that it can be handheld.
That'll
All you need
everything.
is your phone and probably a lip gloss and just a hanky.
But that's for your age, Carol. What about for ladies?
You can sit. It
like
still
this
works
age,
for them.
they need probably their
blanket in there, another pair of shoes.
I'll tell you one thing, Lillian. Some of them carry food inside there, the mandazis and everything.
Food?
Yes, in weddings. I'm telling you something I have seen.
But there's food at the wedding.
Now
Before
Take away.
At the wedding.
Take
If there's
away.
some
They carry
mandazi, some
two
cake,
or
from the wedding.
Okay.
So they get big bags to carry food away.
You know, the 17-year-old boy in the house still called
Okay,
boy.
even if you're taking it to boy, you can carry something that's more appropriate and that's
But
fits with your
their age
outfit.
almost allows it. Although it's a bit irritating, especially when you're dancing and you're at the MC and they're hitting you with the handbag and move. It's
Okay,
a bit
Robert.
annoying.
Annabelle, clutches and age for those.
Is there anything left to say?
I was thinking Robert is out of control. But when we talk about clutches and just the age, for younger ladies, of course, they just need their lip gloss and their phone and probably a comb and a pocket mirror. But what do you think that ladies, the age of what we've seen at the image there, should carry?
They should do the same. They just need a clutch. I mean, really downsize, minimize all the clutter. You don't need all that stuff in your life. And just have the bare essentials. It's so much more elegant than lugging around a huge tote.
Okay. All right. So, if your mom is insisting on the big handbag, just encourage her to try out a clutch. And there are bigger ones as well. It doesn't have to be as tiny. And, of course, City Divas. This is what we have next. Do we have that image? Right. So this is supposed to be a series that should be premiering soon on a TV screen near you. Of course, it's rumored to be called City Divas, and you can see there a number of popular faces. Ella Shiro, she's rumored to be the BBA Kenyan representative. We don't quite know for sure as yet. And then there's Juliet Achieng, former Miss Kenya, Mumbi Maina, and Mkamze Mwatela. So those are some of the characters. Those are actually the leading characters that will be in that series. Let's talk about accessories and necklines. And let's look at that image again.
What kind of show is City Divas? Is it a reality show?
I have no idea, but the little that I know is that it could be a reality show of sorts. Okay, so we're talking about accessories. And when you look at those necklines, they're all different. We've got, you can see they're all different. So let me start with Juliet Ochieng. And I'll go with you, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I don't know what the show is about, if I looked at it, I would think it's about metal, because there's too much, it's too busy. And I'm not a believer of having too many things around that take attention away from the beauty of your face.
Maybe that's the whole idea.
And actually, yes. Then
maybe
if
that's the whole idea.
If you feel you're facially challenged, then you need to wear all those busy things. But I'm sorry, I feel they're too busy. Oh God, I'm sorry. That's all I can say. It's too busy.
Okay, Annabelle, on accessories, what are your thoughts? And you've repeatedly said that less is more on the show.
I have.
But what are your thoughts?
I
on
usually say
accessories?
less is more, but I think this is a look that they're going for. I think this is a styled publicity shoot of some kind. And they're wearing dramatic jewelry for dramatic effect. This designer I recognize as Adele Dejac, who's a very well-known jewelry designer from Kenya. And I think, it's worn appropriately. I like the fact that Juliet is wearing a turtleneck as a backdrop against that very dramatic horn jewelry. And I think it's, it's theatrical, and I think it's actually very artistic and beautiful.
Okay, great. Those are your thoughts. Ian, you are all over the screen right now, and you caught your expression. So, do you think accessories can be too much? For you as guys, when you step out with a lady for coffee or for dinner, what are you thinking when there's too much going on here and on the ears? And
if you're going out, just less is much, much better.
Okay.
Yes.
Carol, your thoughts?
Well, I'm torn between this idea of less is more and more is more, because it depends on the context. In Juliet's case, she's wearing black from head to toe, so she can actually get away with doing the more is more aspect to it. And if it's a reality show and she wants to be a larger-than-life city diva, then that reflects the perspective and the look she wants to portray for the show.
Okay.
But ideally, if you want to go with the less is more, it's better if it's more of a classic piece of jewelry, gold, silver, platinum, then less is definitely more. But if you want to do African and maybe a few pearls, then you can layer it, and then more is more. Then it works in that context.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and a couple of tweets, and actually I was having this conversation earlier on with Bernard Ndong, and he was just talking about how sometimes people talk so close to your face, and I'm talking about the men, because this is a conversation I was having with Bernard about guys, and he talked about breath, and he talked about sweat.
Yeah. Oof.
And, this is a bit odd, but we're talking about not personal hygiene, but just for you. What do you think about the whole you're too close to me, your breath doesn't smell too good,
especially if you're challenged in as far as the breath is concerned. Try and talk and look away from people. I was in Kisumu yesterday and I was talking to people, and we had a great time with the people in Kisumu, and I was telling them sometimes how you carry yourself. I can't just be coming to you like this, It's like I want to eat you up. Even if you don't have a bad breath, give someone some space. Now, the worst thing is that people who smell like they've eaten food from 3 years ago are the ones who go so close to people, you think you're smelling of Giorgio Armani. So give your space, and if you're sweating, don't insist on hugging people and lifting your hands and doing these kind of things. And that's why I said, if you have a problem with body odor, go for the short-sleeved shirts, because aeration takes place, and the body is given some fresh air all the time.
Yes, but then again, for instance, in boardrooms and at meetings or even in parliament, you can't have people chewing away. And of course, sometimes it does get, the need for a mint is there for a lot of people. So what do you do?
Avoid chewing gum. If you see someone chewing a gum, it's very irritating. Suckle on a tropical suit, because if you take chewing gum, imagine a whole MP chewing a gum and discussing the constitution. You will not take it seriously. So suckle a sweet, because a sweet gives longer time in the breath.
I would just say drink more water, and aside from breath mints, you can even try and get cinnamon sticks, because they're very good for refreshing the breath. And first of all, you need to figure out how to identify you actually have hygiene issues. Because it's not necessarily clear to the person who's offending you. So
and there are people that have bad breath that don't know.
Yes, because their friends don't tell them. Seriously, if you've got bad breath, or if you know somebody who's got bad breath, just tell them, point blank.
What if they don't tell you? I'll give you one secret. If you're sitting with someone in the car and you turn to talk to them and it's cold and they wind down the window, there's a problem.
Of course.
That's a telltale sign.
No, you can do it in a subtle way. Just keep turning away every time they're talking to you.
Moral of the story, everybody has a personal bubble. Stay to your own.
Right, and of course with the sweaty armpits, there's
Ew.
Dior.
Yes.
And of course, like Robert said, short sleeved.
Well,
shirt.
Cups, yes.
Yeah? Okay. So
that is putting Band-Aid on an open wound. It just doesn't work. But
yeah.
okay.
All right. Okay, just get some Dior. So let's take a look at the tweets. Do we have tweets? Though black is traditional for a funeral, I think there are other options that are just as acceptable today. Fashion watch, okay? Thanks for that. Andy Ombogo, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you, Andy. The dress makes Janet Mbugwa look amazing and wonderful. Thank you. And of course, you guys always make me laugh. I too dislike couples who dress the same. It's awkward.
Thank you, Jockey.
Okay, thanks for that. What are your style questions? The hashtag is Fashion Watch. Thanks for watching. We'll do this again next week. Good night.